As I was explaining, when my record was expunged, yes. After I was found not guilty, yes. There was never an obligation to have a mental health evaluation. Now, obviously, what you're doing is very fraudulent, and it's really treasonous. Yeah. See, when we were going through the dissolution of marriage, yeah, did my wife mention that my record was expunged? She didn't. Well, did she mention that I didn't get notice of any court hearings? Did she give you an actual the original copy of the United Nations marriage certificate? Oh. Or did she just say, well, he's an abusive husband and I had him arrested on Guam? Now, every time you modified or you issued a temporary protection order or a permanent protection order, you put the same thing, mental health evaluation. But there was no jurisdictional law to do that. I was never arrested in Washington State. My record was expunged on Guam. Yeah. This idea that you can be on probation for a year, right? Not violate any of the personal recognizance of provisions of the probation, and then you're just going to keep making me have to have mental health evaluations. And then you're going to make up fake crimes. Yes. And then you're going to do one of these. Ooh, by the agreement of the parties. Oh, City of Squim and Paul C. Budnick. Yes. Did the City of Squim know that I wasn't in City of Squim? Well, I wasn't in there. I wasn't there. Yeah. You're just going to cover this up, right? You're just going to torture and terrorize and harass and continue to act like you don't have to enforce the laws. Now, this motion for default, yes, you can't motion for well, this mental health evaluation. Who is it that thinks that everybody has to have a mental health evaluation? Exactly, who is it that thinks that every American citizen's crazy? Well, somebody's been helping themselves to mental health evaluations that have been completely unnecessary without jurisdiction of law. Now, let's see. You took domestic violence and child abuse, and you turned it into if the person feels bad, or they have an argument after 10 years of marriage, right, that I'm a domestic abuser. Poop. If I call my wife a cunt, I'm a domestic abuser. Poop. You know, um, what is the definition of domestic violence? I mean, just looking at these domestic violence laws, a couple days ago I saw an actual, a real domestic violence. I mean, that individual needs to go to prison for a very long time because it looks like attempted murder. And if she is alive or dead, Jessica, yes. The truth of the matter is that's domestic violence. So, what is your definition of domestic violence? I never assaulted my wife. I never hurt my wife. I never called her names. I'm sorry, but that word got a little problem with your programming there, Brent. Pooch, Mr. Good Mormon president right now. You know, the Mormons are going to find out that I dislike that denomination. Ooch. And as much as you would say that I can't sue the Mormons for having you as the president of the Mormon church in Clallam County, I can. See, I actually informed them. I sent it to BYU. Ooch. I said that the individual known as the county court commissioner, yes, is violating the laws of the United States because he dislikes my religion. Oh, and he's saying I'm crazy for not believing in Mormonism. Because in his mind, there would not be any civilized individual that would call his wife a cunt. Pooch. But did you ever ask my wife what she called me? You think women don't know how to use profanity? Ooch. Well, I'm sure since you never gave me notice of court hearings, right? You always required me to have a mental health evaluation. Did anybody get the actual truth about Heidi Lee Budnick as the mother of my five sons? Because I had thought she had a little anger problem. Quite a few different times during our relationship, she would get upset. Now, not that I would want to really berate right now, but did the good Mormon president, yes, that his Mormon denomination, the Mormons are going to be sued for refusing to remove whatever ordination or licensing there is for a court commissioner, yes, that seems to think you can put mental health evaluation on everything because the justification of it is what? Let's see, we're protecting the women and children from aggressive alpha males. Well, let's look at it again, okay? If you don't have jurisdiction of law, you had no actual right to obligate a mental health evaluation. You can accuse me of whatever you want in this jurisdiction, but the actual arrest took place on Guam. And when I was evaluated, it was marriage reconciliation because I was not a domestic abuser or a child abuser. And when my record was expunged right now. Now let's go through the Mormons, okay? Why don't you get me the Quorum of 70? Pooch, magic underwear? Ah, ah. Any denomination that requires the wearing of certain garments, known as, well, do you have your magic underwear on right now? Could you call the endowed? Because I called them when I got here. Yes. See, when I got to my grandmother's house on January 7th of 2012, yes, Christmas time, yeah, Mitt Romney was running for president, I think in 2012, or maybe he just got done running for president. Somebody was elected president. I think it was Barack Hussein Obama. Anyways, I called the Mormons. I called them on their what you go to just do a web search, okay? Mormon, Mormon, every web page and website, yes. And all of those in the endowed that you have to be approved by Mormonism to purchase a certain kind of underwear. Now I know I can't buy it, but you can. Yes. Now, for a court commissioner to sit there, yes, and say I'm mentally disturbed, yes, for not being able to purchase the same underwear, there's a question. Okay. You would think that I'd be able to go out and buy the underwear, yes, of any Mormon politician, knowing if that there should, well, can you obligate the wearing of certain garments as a condition? I know it's a religious thing. Okay, I know that. Okay. But I'm really thinking, all right, that, oh, excuse me. Okay. That this idea that you're going to sit there as a court commissioner and judge me when I can't wear the same underwear that you have on right now. Why don't you get me all the underwear of all the Mormons, all their known properties throughout the whole world? Yes. And then good president, 94-year-old, is that right? Pooch, I remember the previous president. I had seen, it was a documentary about how Mormonism had really expanded their actual holdings. In fact, just thinking about it, yes. Do you belong to the Bar Association? Poop. See, the ABA accredits all law schools, and let's say you go to BYU as a law school. I'm sitting there. Do I have to wear the same underwear as the rest of the students in that law school? Is it a condition of practicing law that you have to have a certain garment? Now, these private examinations, right, selects the students they will accept in their organization, issues them so-called licenses for a fee, but does not issue state licenses to lawyers. That's right. Now you have your attorney oath of admission in the state bar, in the Supreme Courts of each and every state of the United States right now. Well, just get me the law schools that are Mormons, BYU, Brigham Young University. Now I'm thinking, Brent, I did some research about various attorneys in this state, and some of them got their law degree from a private or religious institutions, right? Well, if we looked at it, okay, Harvard, Princeton. I know they're very Presbyterian at the Princeton University. Yes, they are. But offering a theological degree and then offering a law degree, there's probably some sort of question about